Well, that was a pretty nice way to start the night. Just a little, little wet there. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who's come out tonight. It really means a lot to not only myself, but the cast, the directors, everyone who's put so much time into this production to bring it to what it is tonight. My story, personally, I've been telling it for about 9 years now, and to a lot of people, it's something that, they'll look at me and I can see this look that it's something that I never really know how to take. Where for me, I've been telling this for 9 years, I've grown up with it. It's something that I do not wish on anyone to experience what I've felt. And to so many people, I can see that my story does really resonate with them. And it's not even just the people involving domestic violence, it can reach to anyone. I grew up, I guess I could say that I was the kid who, I was always the character. I had a lot to go on with myself, where sometimes I was definitely the target for bullying myself. And growing up around that, there's some times where definitely was not easy for me. And growing up around that, getting through my depression through that, this is when this all started. Was when I was kind of really coming to getting through my darkest times is when it got a little bit darker. In 2006, domestic violence kind of really just took over everything that was going on in my world. My mom was going through issues of her own. She was luckily able to get away. She found the resources that she did to really start over. God bless her, she can be very stubborn, but she really knew, this is not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna be this woman who just stays and lets this happen to me. And she got out, and she really, really did not let this keep going for herself. Unfortunately, her sister was also going through something very similar to what she was, and she was not as fortunate. In 2007, my aunt Denise was murdered by her boyfriend. 3 months of a missing persons investigation led to a homicide investigation. And just about a year ago, he was finally convicted of second-degree murder, and he is now serving his sentence for that. Throughout this entire process, it's been up and down for me and my family. A lot of struggles, healing, really wrapping our heads around what happened. I've seen my family come together, torn apart because of this. But at the end of the day, something that I know that I need to do for myself is I need to talk about this. This isn't something that I can just ignore. I've got a voice that I can use. I have, unfortunately, too many times I've seen this happen to just sit by and just say, this is gonna pass, this is gonna be okay. Because that's not gonna stop this. It's gonna keep happening. And the one thing that we need to do as a community is to stop the stories that you're seeing tonight. Everyone in this room has either known someone who has gone through this, witnessed it, known about it, and I myself have seen so many people go through something that to them it might not be an issue of, well, I think I'm in an abusive relationship. No, he's not hitting me, it's not a domestic relationship. But the problem with it is that there's so much more than just the hitting, it's the words. You need to feel that you're more than just what they tell you that you are. That you know that if you're in the situation, there are resources to get out. There are resources that are there to help you get out, to be okay. And that's really what this production started with. When I was interviewed by Gary Kirkham and Dwight Storing, and I knew that I had the chance to make a difference in this, I jumped on it. Because there's so much of this in this community, and unfortunately, these are not the only stories that are happening here. When I found out that Sir John A. Macdonald was doing this for the Sears Drama Festival, to me that was the perfect opportunity to get this message out. Because in high school, these relationships are so pivotal, where this is something where it starts. It sucks, but this is where it happens. And if you can start having this discussion now, by the time that it gets to that point where they are on their own, they have the techniques and they have the skills and the strength and the knowledge to know, if I'm in an abusive relationship, I need to know how to get out. I need to know that I'm strong enough to get out, and I have the supports that I need to get out. And every single one of this cast has done me so proud to see that, these stories come to life. To know that there is so much passion behind this production to get the message out there, that there is help. There are the supports in place. If you need it, it is there. So I'm sure there are some parents here tonight, so I really need to acknowledge you. I thank you so much for letting these kids tell this story. They have been amazing to take on such a really hard topic, and they've they've just done amazing with it, and tonight I really hope that this message reaches some of you. We found out that just after the first reading of it in November, a woman that night left the show, went home, and left her abusive relationship. That is the power of this story, is that this is going to reach someone. This is all worth it. Someone said to me once, doesn't it ever hurt to keep talking about this? And I said, no. Because if I can help one person, it's worth it. And I'm sure I can say for everyone in this production that they feel the same. If this story can even help one person, it's just going to keep going. That person's going to tell someone else, and it's just going to keep going. And there's going to be that support for them and everyone who's going through this. So, don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say again, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Thank you to the directors for putting such love and care into this production, and to the amazing cast for taking something like this on and really just putting everything they have into this, into getting the story told. I really hope that you guys enjoy the show. And really, one last thing I gotta say, if you do know of anyone who's struggling with domestic violence, whether it's physical, mental, verbal, any of it, Women's Crisis Service of Waterloo Region, their support is there. So I'm gonna turn it back to the directors now. Hopefully, didn't take up too much time. All right, thank you again everybody for coming tonight. Thank you very much.